This is about calling out the absolute audacity of rabid dogs to compare KG's serious and deeply disturbing situation to a bunch of entitled, spoiled cockroaches who think they can throw tantrums and get their way. Vcha is a girl group I didn't care about when JYPE first announced their survival show A2K, only allowing toddlers to audition. I couldn't bear the fact that their first global girl group is filled with toddlers who should be in school instead of on a stage. It's absolutely ridiculous. JYPE airing A2K to parade literal children for public entertainment was embarrassing enough. This wasn't groundbreaking or exciting, it was just plain irresponsible. Who is this group even for? Because I can tell you right now, the West isn't checking for kids bop K-pop. Nobody wants to hear music that sounds like it was written for a school talent show, and nobody, and I mean nobody, wants to see children exploited in the name of artistry. The K-pop industry is already a ruthless machine, and now we're letting it swallow up minors? It's gross. It's predatory. It needs to stop. Their debut also sound mediocre. What these companies need is a massive flashing warning sign that screams, "Do not debut minors." These kids should be in school, living their lives, not thrown into this machine that chews them up and spits them out. That's why I respect groups like Cat's Eye. At least JYPE had the decency to debut adults, people who can handle the insanity that comes with this industry. Meanwhile, Vcha? Some of these girls aren't even out of their training bras, thrown into the deep end of an industry that barely protects its adults, let alone children. And then we have the recent bombshell about KG. I'm disgusted, but not surprised. The fact that this girl allegedly went through abuse so severe that she terminated her contract and filed a lawsuit against JYP Entertainment is horrifying. Let me repeat that for the people in the back. A child had to file a lawsuit for mistreatment. How's this not setting the entire industry on fire? How's this not the top story on every news site? But no, instead of outrage, we get silence. It's the same thing that happened with Gun from Madian. These stories barely get any attention because the media would rather feed us on stupid, meaningless drama because that's what gets clicks. Forget the actual issues, right? Because actual accountability doesn't sell like fake drama and nonsensical fan wars. It's a slap in the face to every victim who's suffered under this system. And to the fans? Some of you are just as bad. You'll cry over nonsense, but stay silent when real issues come to light. You'll preach about supporting your idols, but where are you when it matters? No, I'm not talking old denim, which I'll soon discuss. This industry is rotting from the inside out, and the people who could help change it are too busy being pretentious a-holes. I'm sick of it. Sick of the exploitation, the hypocrisy, and the lack of accountability. And to anyone who thinks I'm being too harsh, get out. I'm not here to coddle you. This is the reality of K-pop, and if you can't handle it, then maybe you shouldn't be here. Alright, rosaries, let's get into the details because there's a lot to unpack. And to anyone new here, hello, and also to the old ones. Alright, let's get started, and I'll warn you now. If you're one of those fecking snowflakes who throws a tantrum whenever you see a video that doesn't fit your agenda, do everyone a favor and click off. I can promise you that some of you won't be pleased with what I have to say. JYP Entertainment is a lot sicker than I thought. Let me start by saying this entire situation with KG Crown has me absolutely furious. A 17-year-old filing a lawsuit to terminate her contract with JYP Entertainment, citing abuse, mistreatment, and disgusting working conditions. And somehow, we're supposed to act like this isn't a reflection of everything wrong with this industry? This is the kind of thing that makes my blood boil. KG laid it all out in a 77-page lawsuit, exposing the horrifying reality she and her group members have been living through. She detailed how one of her fellow members attempted suicide because of the toxic environment they were forced into. A child, pushed to the brink, developing an eating disorder, and you know what JYP did? They brushed it off. They had the audacity to call it food poisoning. Food poisoning? Are you kidding me? How heartless, how out of touch do you have to be to dismiss something so serious? This happened in February 2024, barely a month after they started promoting globally. The cracks in the system showed immediately, but no one did anything. KG herself spoke up, apologizing to fans for leaving, but making it clear she couldn't stay silent anymore. She condemned the abusive conditions, the ridicule she faced from staff in front of her group mates, and the complete lack of care from the agency when members raised concerns. She said it herself, this wasn't an environment for growth. It was toxic, it was damaging, and it was breaking these girls down piece by piece. She revealed that the extreme control over their personal lives and the intense work schedules left her drowning in debt with almost no pay to show for it. Let that sink in. A teenager, trapped in a system designed to exploit her, while the company that's supposed to protect her made her life a living hell. And now, she's forced to fight for her basic human rights through a lawsuit, while the agency sits there acting like this is just a difference of opinion. Are you serious? This isn't just a difference of opinion. This is systemic abuse. And don't even get me started on the fan response. Some of you are out here pretending this isn't a big deal or turning a blind eye because it's easier to keep standing than to face the ugly truth about this industry. Wake up. These idols are human beings. They're not your dolls. They're not here to suffer so you can have a cute playlist. KG had the guts to speak up, not just for herself, but for every idol trapped in this nightmare, and you owe it to her to listen. I'll tell you the reason why I said this in my next part, but let's talk about Kaylee, the member who's been on hiatus since March 2024. It's heavily speculated that she's the one who attempted suicide. But does anyone in the media care to highlight that? No. They'd rather keep entertaining useless drama while the real issues get ignored. It's disgusting. KG's bravery in leaving and calling this out is monumental, but it's infuriating that she had to reach this breaking point in the first place. JYPE Entertainment wants to handle this through legal channels. What a joke. Maybe they should try handling it by not destroying their artists' lives. Fans have rallied behind KG with hashtags like #WeLoveYouKG and #AlwaysWithKG trending worldwide, and they should. This needs to be a turning point. But honestly, how many turning points do we need before this industry gets its act together? It's time for everyone, fans, companies, media, to wake up and take responsibility. Because if nothing changes, this cycle of abuse will just keep going. And that's not something any of us should stand for. This is about calling out the absolute audacity of rabid dogs to compare KG's serious and deeply disturbing situation to a bunch of entitled, spoiled cockroaches who think they can throw tantrums and get their way. KG came forward with real allegations of abuse and mistreatment from JYPE Entertainment. She provided details, painful, horrifying details, about what she and her members have been through, including the suicide attempt of another member that the company dismissed as food poisoning. This is serious, this is heartbreaking, and this deserves every ounce of attention and support. And then we have the absolute audacity of people bringing up Old Denim and Hanny in the same breath. Old Denim? Really? A group that cried about mistreatment, without offering one shred of evidence to back it up? They didn't file lawsuits. They didn't come forward with concrete examples. They didn't even make sense most of the time. Instead, they ran to social media, whined on a live stream, and made demands like spoiled children who didn't get their way. And Hanny? She had the nerve to cry about being bullied with absolutely no proof, no receipts, and no real explanation. She literally rambled about nothing. Meanwhile, let's not forget Dispatch caught her and Min Hee-jin red-handed. Are we supposed to feel sorry for her too? Because let me tell you, that's not happening. How can anyone even think of comparing these situations? KG is fighting a massive entertainment company, risking everything to expose abuse and stand up for what's right. She's going through legal channels, filing lawsuits, and taking real action. That's bravery. That's someone who deserves empathy and support. And then there's Old Denim, who are basically throwing a fit because they didn't get their way with Mama Roach. Mama Roach. Their whole spectacle wasn't about justice, it was about entitlement. They had an emergency press conference, made ridiculous demands, and caused unnecessary chaos, all to defend Min Hee-jin. It's embarrassing. Here's the difference. KG is risking her career, her mental health, and her safety to fight for justice. New Jeans are risking absolutely nothing while dragging others down with their toxic behavior. KG wants change. New Jeans want attention. The fact that rabid dogs are out here equating these two situations is disgusting. KG deserves empathy, support, and respect for her courage. Old denim and their entitled nonsense deserve nothing. Bunnies need to stop enabling this toxic, self-centered behavior and focus on real issues, like what KG and countless other idols are enduring in silence. This isn't up for debate. There's no comparison. One is fighting for justice. The other is throwing tantrums. End of story. Let me just say this because it's absolutely infuriating, and I cannot wrap my head around it. Why on earth are parents willingly throwing their children into an industry as vicious and unforgiving as K-pops? Do they even think? Do they even care? You would think, with all the horror stories out there, that parents would have the common sense to do a little research before letting their kids walk straight into a meat grinder disguised as an entertainment industry. But no, they seem perfectly fine with it. This isn't rocket science. The K-pop industry was never meant for children. It was built to churn out performers, not to nurture or protect kids. Of course, companies will take these kids in because they're young, naive, and completely clueless about the nightmare they're signing up for. They don't know any better, and that's exactly what makes them so easy to manipulate and exploit. And you know who's supposed to protect them? Their parents. It's the parents' job to shield their kids from an environment that's been screaming, toxic, and dangerous for years. But here we are, with parents who either don't care or are too blinded by dreams of fame to see what's really happening. Let me tell you, it's not just irresponsible, it's downright disgraceful. These kids aren't just losing their childhood, they're being set up for a life of mental and physical abuse, and for what? So their parents can say, "Oh, my child is a K-pop star?" It's sickening. And don't even get me started on how long fans have been calling out this industry. For years, people have been shouting from the rooftops about how awful it is. The exploitation, the abuse, the ridiculous work schedules, the impossible standards, it's all out there. Yet somehow, these parents seem to conveniently ignore it, like they don't know what's happening. But guess what? Ignorance isn't an excuse anymore. Not when this information is so easy to find. The worst part? Everyone just keeps brushing it off, pretending it's not as bad as it seems, while kids are being destroyed in real time. I'm so done with this cycle of stupidity and negligence. If you're a parent and you're willingly putting your child into this nightmare, then you're part of the problem. Period. Parents need to wake up. Protect your kids. Stop feeding them to the wolves for the sake of a dream that isn't even theirs. Because at the end of the day, the K-pop industry doesn't care about your child. It never has, and it never will. This industry is absolutely broken, and it has to change now, or things are only going to get worse for everyone involved. That's it for today. Leave your thoughts in the comments and keep it respectful because I'm not tolerating any more nonsense. If you found this video entertaining, then go ahead and like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell rosaries to get more content. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye bye.